Okay, let's talk candying 101. I have a green apple that I quickly prepped, made sure that all the wax is off, it's completely dry, no syrup or natural syrups is coming from it. We have our strawberries here, which I made sure are clean and are completely dried off. We rotated them maybe about 2 hours now to make sure that there's no condensation from being in the box. Same for the grapes. Wipe them down, made sure there's no condensation left on them, rotated these. The oranges I've never candied before, but we're gonna try. I'm just kind of curious. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I've rotated these back and forth just like that on different sides over the course of the 2 hours to make sure that it's dry and completely ready to be dipped. I also have some off-brand but very yummy, delicious sour worms, apple rings, and her favorite candy is Sour Patch Kids. I have no idea why, because they are not the best candy ever, but Caitlin loves it, and whatever she loves, she's definitely going to get this round. You guys have to know me with my nieces. I'm a sucker for all three of them, so whatever they want, they definitely get. And then I have my mat here. I'm going to use this. Normally I use a pan for my candied apples, and I butter it down really well, but I'm going to try the mat right here, okay, to make sure that we get it done really quickly. So, and also my toothpicks for my grapes, because that's the only thing I'm going to need to have supported while I actually dip it into the candy. So off to make the candy. Okay, we are at the workstation, the stovetop. Yay, we made it. So we've got our sugar already poured into the pot. We've got our cup of water for our recipe. We have the ice water to make sure that the candy is going to have a nice snap. No, I do not use a candy thermometer. I tried it a couple of times and the candy just didn't seem to be perfect for me. I like doing it old school because I can kind of play around with it and bring it a little past the boiling point just to make sure that it holds. I did buy some off-brand corn syrup. Look guys, it's all in your preference. I particularly like for my orders, I like to get the name brand. I like to get Cairo. Well, because this was a last minute thing and they didn't have Cairo on the shelf, I got what they had at the neighborhood market, which is Market Basket. So we're gonna go ahead and mix everything in the pot, and I'm gonna bring it to a boil on medium heat. For my stove, medium heat would probably be about a 5 or 6. And I'm actually probably going to do a rush job on it and see if I can pull this up. I would not recommend that because candy scorches so fast. I've done it so many times before. I'm kind of used to playing around with it. So again, I don't recommend doing what I'm gonna do. Okay, so here we go. Let's start. Okay, right now I've got my color where I want it to be. I don't want it too much. I think on the older video with the strawberries, I explained that some of these dyes have a harder flavor to it. So no matter how much flavoring you put into your candies, it somehow overrides that and you get this really nasty dye flavor, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead, let this boil down to the point to where I can then test it in my water. It's gonna take a few minutes and then I'll be back. Okay, while my candy is boiling, I'm going to make use of my time, and I'm going to go ahead and get these grapes set up. I don't have a lot of toothpicks, so what I'm going to do is kind of split them in half. That way I have enough to kind of work with it. I'm going to put the sharper end on the top of the grape. And then that way we have a way to kind of rotate it a little bit, okay? So I'm going to work on these. And then I'm going to check the candy, which it should be close to done, if not already done. Okay, it's starting to look like it's thickening up a little bit more, just that quick. So I know it could be a pain for old school way to do it with the ice water, but again, to each his own. You can do a candy thermometer and it would solve this issue, but I personally like it this way. Again, to each his own. And notice this candy isn't I don't know if you can tell on camera as best as I can in person that it's not as loose. I'm just gonna shake this around. I added a little bit more ice cubes in here and we're gonna do it again. Now the candy, to me, it's almost there. I want it a little bit firmer. Okay. What I look for is for the candy to actually hit the ice and bubble a little bit. That's how I know it's there. This has a snap. I want it a little bit more firmer. Even though it is ready, I'm gonna bring the temperature up just a little bit higher. This is the part that I say, don't necessarily do as I do, because in this moment it can actually burn. So candy burns very quickly, especially on these glass cooktops. If you don't remove it off the heat continues to cook your candy even after you turn the element off. So that's a pain in itself. So I think this is pretty much ready. Yeah, it's ready. So look at that. See that little bubble there? I'm gonna do it again one more time because it has to come off. And it has the bubbles, which means that it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna take this off the heat and I'm gonna meet you guys over there at my prep station and we're gonna do the final stages to dip. Okay everybody, we're back at the workstation. I actually got my pineapple spears out the freezer. God help me, because I know this is not gonna be a very good experience, but we're gonna try it all for the sake of my niece Caitlin. And then also I put a pan in the freezer. This is a little 2.25 pound pan, okay, aluminum pan in the freezer, so that way it can be frosted. And my theory is that the bottom will be chilled just enough to kind of hold this candy. I'm waiting for the bubbles to stop in the candy, which it just has, to add my flavoring. Okay, I'm a big fan of Lorian flavoring. You can get that on Amazon or any one of your craft stores. So I'm going to add it to the pot only whenever the bubbles actually cease. You don't want a big huge burnt batch of candy, okay, because if you add it to the candy too soon, it could actually make it burn really quickly. Okay, so this is a test of how fast we can move. Okay, now my candy's not thick, which is good, which means that it buys me time. Let me make sure that flavor is stirred in. It buys me some time to dip things. Okay, so when it's actually really, really stiff, then I don't have too much time to work with it. You can actually place your candy on a mild heat or to low heat, and then that way you can go ahead and loosen it up if it starts to look like it gets thicker. However, with me bringing the temperature of the candy up a little bit further than what it's supposed to be, you really can't do that as much. You're not going to be able to afford to do that. I'm going to get an older towel that I don't mind messing up. Put it on here. I'm going to take my apple and we're going to dip that first. Do a couple of shakes. There we go. And wipe it off on the edge. This may not be the perfect apple because, again, I kind of rushed it with prepping it. Normally when I prep apples, it's, you know, days of drying out and making sure it's good. Now we're going to do our grapes. We're going to angle the pot, and I'm going to dip all the way up to the point, and I like to kind of triple dip these so that way it can kind of encase the grape. Look at that. You can see with my hands like that. All right, I'm going to put it down on that. So I'm going to do that and finish up the grapes. I'm moving in a pattern that allows me to do the things that needs a little bit more time to set, which would be my apple, because the apples contain heat very well, and when it contains heat, it takes a longer time for it to cool off. And because of that, I can't package it as quickly as I want to. Now I'm dealing with temperamental fruits, which means that these fruits tend to drain if not handled properly, and that's my fear with me doing this so quickly, that we're going to get a drain. So if you notice, I'm not fully submerging them. I've seen people fully submerge their candied grapes before. I don't like doing that because the soft spot of the grape tends to be at the top. When you do that, all of that juice from the top goes underneath your candy, and it breaks the shell 2 to 3 times more faster than what it would if you just bring it all the way up to that point. Okay, Now, if you're gonna eat these really fast, then by all means, you can put it all the way to the top and submerge it. I treat my apples about the same. If I'm doing a quick batch of apples, like this one, I didn't fully submerge it. I kind of left it with that little peekaboo area at the top because it was a quick fix. I think. All right, let me move you guys where I am. Looking at this so pretty. It's setting, I'm looking at everything. It looks great. Now we're gonna get our pan ready because Lord knows we need this to go in the fridge ASAP. You heard me? ASAP. Okay, got our pan. There we go. Make sure you guys can see everything. Sorta-ish. Ish. Okay, there we go. Move y'all back. Okay, now we got our candy apple chilling out. Grapes, I'm gonna go ahead and take the toothpicks out. I want these to go back in the refrigerator. Okay. All right. There we go. Now, what I'm gonna do is, these are all damp fruits. We're gonna make sure that we put these in the box. Okay. These pineapples, oh my God, freezing them might be something, Leash. Look at that. Oh my gosh, beautiful. So, oh, I'm sorry. Let me not get excited. I'm a believer, again, I tell you guys all the time, I'm old school, with the cut right paper. All right, so let's do this. Let's layer her some really pretty arrangement of fruit. All right. I'm gonna do like that. Don't like how that did. Okay. This is not set yet. These are set. Okay. All right. 3 pineapple spears. I don't want to mess this up, and it's so pretty, so let me just put it like that. Okay. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. Okay. Now we're gonna take our grapes. I'm gonna put this over here. We're gonna do our strawberries. This carries a little bit of heat. I'm moving very quickly because these are very temperamental. Okay. You can just kind of like lean them to the side. I'm all about presentation, but right now this is a battle of who's gonna win as far as timing. So I'm just gonna put this here. Put her grapes there. We're gonna put her candied orange slices there. Y'all, sweet peas, we might have a new candy box since this worked. Imagine how much more better it's gonna be whenever I take my time. All right, so I'm gonna top this off with her favorite candy. Handful of Sour Jacks. There we go. Look at that, guys. That looks so beautiful. Handful of my favorite. Some sour worms. I don't care if she like them or she don't. She gonna eat them because Auntie went through this to get her some candy fruits. All right, I'm gonna put this up. And to top it off, gotta do the rings. It is not a tray if you don't have the rings. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my candied pineapple at the top right here. And there we go. Look at that, that's beautiful. And then she has a another layer of Sour Jacks I'm gonna put at the top. And voila. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me shift you guys around. Look at that. Candy fruit perfection. So I'm gonna wrap her apple separate. I'm gonna put these fruits in the fridge and we're gonna hurry up and deliver this to her and wrap this with cellophane wrap so that way we can actually get it to her so she can enjoy it. That's it, guys. That's my tutorial on candied fruits. Thanks for joining me. Join me next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our avenues on Instagram, all on Facebook under Sweet Peas, okay, with our logo, and then also the Sweet Peas Life on Facebook and the Sweet Peas Life on YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure that you know when we have another video dropping. Thanks so much. Peace.